more overheating phones. Cool your phones in seconds. Prevents damage to phones and battery issues. Better gaming experience and streaming. USB powered and fast charging. Lightweight and quiet. Ideal for kids and adults. Works with all smartphones. Makes a great gift. Enjoy free island-wide delivery. Call or WhatsApp 868-762-6589. Anti-crime exercise yields seizure of high-powered weapons in Diego Martin. A coordinated anti-crime exercise was conducted within the West End Police District between the hours of 10:30 a.m. and 1:30 p.m. on Thursday, the 4th of September, 2025. The operation formed part of ongoing efforts by the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service to reduce the prevalence of illegal firearms and enhance public safety. We need legal firearms. We need to have the rights to bear arms. And it shouldn't be that only the criminals, because it will continue to be that way, the criminals will always find a way to acquire deadly weapons. And that is why we, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, the law-abiding citizens, need also to have the constitutional rights to bear arms and to use deadly force when bandits decide to invade our homes. As a result of surveillance conducted on a commercial property located along North Coast Road, Diego Martin, one of PNM faithful wives, you know. Once in a while, she won one little district in Diego Martin back in 2010, won PNM and voted for UNC. But other than that, they love their PNM. You could beat them all they want. They still voted for their PNM. They voted for we own. My God, boy. But anyhow, still part of Trinidad and Tobago, and I care about them just as anybody else. I just can't understand how people could just continue voting for people that don't care about them. So as a result of surveillance conducted on a commercial property located North Coast Road, Diego Martin, officers executed a search of a security booth situated on the compound. During the search, an AR-15 rifle, you see what I'm talking about? These are the kind of weapons they will use to go and attack the police officers in the school, and then all they don't want to have them. With the guns, boy, Kim Jong-un, all your tail, boy. All your tail. Fitted with a magazine and strap was discovered concealed in the ceiling of the booth. I have nothing against what happened there. Nothing at all. But at the end of it, as I said before, this once again shows the reason why we have to support the officers being armed in the schools, because watch the kind of firearm you're talking about. There people like AR-15 rifle, and you want the police officers in the school to be unarmed Kim Jong-un? Oh man, nah. Oh yes. This is what I wanted to say. I said hold your tail. I'm not using any kind of explicit language. So people, you have some, and I value all my viewers. You don't have some, it's about to tone it down. And don't use certain type of language. I'm doing my best, people. I am doing my best, and I also don't shout as much anymore. But hold your tail, oh gosh. People are offended by that as well. Oh God, there's nothing I can do about that. Because you see that, hold your tail, I will keep saying, hold your tail. Especially to people like the PNMites and them, and the tribals and them, who are against the war that has been waged against human trafficking and drug trafficking and the criminal gangs throughout the Caribbean. You won't be disappointed with this one. Look and feel great every day. Painless trimming with no pulling of hair guaranteed. Comfortable to hold and lightweight. Intelligent anti-pinch system. Safety travel lock. Accurate and painless trimming. Durability 100% quality. Fast charging. To place an order, call or WhatsApp 868-762-6589. Chairwoman of Paria Fuel Trading Company, Nairi Alfonso, has confirmed that the $1 million promise by former Prime Minister Stuart Young, Zami Young, to families of 4 divers and 1 survivor in the 2022 Paria diving tragedy has not yet been paid. On support for the divers' families, Alfonso said, Ultimately, as I said, we are trying to sort out our way through the insurers, the attorneys who have made claims, and so on. It's certainly high on our priority. If we can't get things done in the shorter term, then we may have to look at an interim position. But overall, the feeling is that this matter should be brought to an end, and hopefully soon. For the sake of the families, and the money can never be sufficient, people. A human life, it doesn't have a value, it's priceless. But at least it can assist them in enabling a lot of these families in moving forward with their lives. The Ministry of Works and Infrastructure is warning pedestrians to exercise caution when using the Chanda Nagore walkover near the Chase Village overpass, saying the structure has developed structural issues, people. And don't come and tell me anything, or don't come and tell us anything about, well, the UNC in office, so what. Yes, people. But who was in office for the past 10 years and neglected everything? Right, PNM, the tribal PNM party, 1% Syrian Lebanese party. According to a release from the ministry, the walkover is essential for pedestrian connectivity between Chandanagar and Carlson Field and remains the only designated crossing point in the area. The ministry said it is actively assessing the situation and will carry out emergency repairs in the shortest time frame. Let's just hope it really takes place in an extremely short space of time, because from the way they're speaking there, somebody could end up very soon either injuring themselves or losing their life, people, and I hope it doesn't end up to that. In the meantime, pedestrians are urged to consider alternative safe options where possible. Those who must use the structure are strongly advised to walk at the edge of the surface and not in the center when crossing. People, take heed. I, for one, wasn't crossing it at all, and I still wasn't going to cross the highway either, because that's even more dangerous. But walk, if you have to walk a good 5 miles or whatever, I don't know what is the distance, to be able to find another walkover, do so. I don't know. I just hope and pray. The main solution is to get that walkover repaired as soon as possible. I'm really thankful for everyone who has begun to make comments on my YouTube channels. It's really, it definitely will boost the algorithms. And as I keep saying over and over again, there will be comments that I don't agree with, and there are others that I will love and appreciate a lot, the support, and of course those who see things from the same perspective that I do. So there are particular individuals right now that are really angry that I'm supporting the Kamala Prasad administration, who has supported the Americans in their war against terrorism, in their war against human trafficking, drug trafficking here in the Caribbean and in Venezuela and other nations. And you know, the sad thing about it is, they will make comments and they expect you to actually believe them simply because they say so, you know. And you have to really wonder how tribalism can cause these individuals to become so spiritually blind and so willing to speak utter nonsense. How their hatred for the white man, listen to me carefully. From the time your argument begins with black versus white, I have already turned off my hearing and I'm done listening to you. Seriously speaking, I will ignore you from there on. Because it shows me that your whole issue is about tribalism. Your whole issue is your hatred towards the white man and the colonialists. As you start an argument with me, talking about, oh, they're coming into our country, in our area, and they have hidden agendas, and the colonial this and the colonial that, and all are we black? Yes, all are we black? All are we black? That does not mean we have to hate the white man because of that. But I'm telling you, people like you also, you're just obsessed with race, and it's always white versus black. When we have an actual crime crisis in the Caribbean, and we actually have a problem with drug trafficking between Trinidad and Venezuela, the authorities have acknowledged that for decades now. It's not now. All of a sudden now, well, they're talking nonsense about, it's just a pirogue with people migrants that trying to escape Venezuela. Why are they trying to escape Venezuela in the first place? But besides that, firstly, the argument was that it was an AI video. It wasn't real. All of a sudden now, I think a body wash ashore here in Trinidad or something like that. All of a sudden now, it's real, but it was not. It was not drug traffickers. It was innocent migrants that was trying to come to Trinidad and Tobago, Trinidad and Tobago. The whole narrative changed, you know. So you're changing a narrative and we must believe what? Both, all, what? Which one we supposed to believe? That was AI? Huh? When they realize that the AI ain't really making that much sense anymore, now you're coming and talking tata about it being migrants? Huh? What about all the criminal gangs from Venezuela that reside even here in Trinidad and Tobago as well? All of a sudden, you're not acknowledging that end? Because America in the territory. You're complaining about the gang problems in Trinidad and Tobago all the time, you know. You're complaining about Venezuela as well. But all of a sudden, Venezuela's with brother, Venezuela's with this, Venezuela's with that. Why our brother continues to make false accusations against us? And tribal Trinis? Why? Can you tell me that? Can you explain that to me? Why are they making false allegations against us? They have been accusing us of trying to cause make an insurrection to overthrow the government, the Maduro government, which is an illegitimate government anyhow you take it. But you see, everybody else in the world lying and Venezuela talking the truth. The entire world recognizes the opposition as the legitimate government of Venezuela. But you know what? We must just believe what Maduro says. I'm telling you, tribalism makes people go cuckoo. Because it's the same thing. So many nations around the world have recognized that Hamas is a terrorist organization, that the Ayatollah is a terrorist regime, that Hezbollah and the Houthis are terrorist organizations. And yet, tribal Trinis, tribals throughout the Caribbean, want us to continue to believe that these are freedom fighters that continue to murder people, murder Christians in Sudan, in the Congo, in Nigeria, simply because they refuse to convert to the Islamic faith. It's because of that. And then they call out their God name after murdering these people, massacring them. But you don't hear anybody crying out and saying, oh God, save the people in Nigeria, save the people in Sudan, save the people in the Congo, save the DRUZE, the Druze in Syria that are being massacred by the ISIS government that controls Syria right now. Well, they say nothing about that, you know. Because you know why? The freedom fighters can't do no wrong, and the freedom fighters don't lie. The whole world lying, and the freedom fighters are. So now all of a sudden, now it's the same thing here in the Caribbean. This is the same thing going on. What the Venezuelans are telling the truth, and our Kamala Prasad administration lying. So once again, it's tribalism. It's PLMites that's spewing all this nonsense. PLMites here in Trinidad and Tobago that's spewing that nonsense. This is not just about the hatred of the white man, you know. This is the hatred of the Kamala Prasad, the Cesar administration as well. So it's just about opposing for opposing's sake. But once again, I will say it again. I'm glad. Oh, they come and continue to bring the comments now, man. Bring the comments. Because you know what? Even though I disagree with what you're saying, it benefits me. Because it triggers, it stimulates the algorithms for my videos to be able to end up getting more views. So thank you. Thank you in advance. Now for some regional news. The Guyana Police Force is aware of recent social media content and public statements being circulated by political actors, especially the jihadist party in Guyana right now, the WIN, and influencers alleging ballot box tampering during the ongoing recount process. And you know what's the amazing thing about it? Even Ali himself is also of that same faith, you know, of the Islamic faith, you know. But he values democracy. He values freedom of choice and freedom of religion. And therefore, that is why, basically, he governs so well. It's because he's not obsessed with certain things. I don't want to get into the discussion too much because I've already spoken just now there for a very long period of time. It's about 6 minutes long. So let me get back to the news. So we wish to remind the public that a recount is being conducted. Well, I think it's concluded by now. And Sowers and them from the APNU and the PNC, extra sour. Now, if you see the bad face boy, that man, they need to rename him Mr. Sowers. But anyhow, so the police said we wish to remind the public that the recount is being conducted under tight security and in full accordance with the laws of Guyana. The process has been peaceful, orderly, and transparent, with representatives from all political parties and accredited observers present. What kind of allegations you want to make? Everybody, officials from each party were there to be able to witness what was taking place, people. Oh gosh, boy. I tell you, the main one. I'm making these kind of accusations. But then the Sowers and them doing it too. So the Sowers and the Win. Sowers, the APNU and the PNC and the Win party. Yeah, only pass Win. Only I'll get one district. Just be happy with that, man. Relax all yourself. Let Irfan Ali continue to be able to transform Guyana into one of the greatest superpowers in our region. The Private Sector Commission reaffirms that the September 1st, 2025 general and regional elections were free, fair, and credible. We are concerned by attempts to undermine the legitimacy of the process through the selective and misleading use of the European Union Election Observation Mission's preliminary report. The EU's own findings are unambiguous. Election day was peaceful, orderly, and efficiently managed with professional polling staff and transparent procedure. Speaking about Sowers, APNU, that is the coalition party, which I believe also includes the PNC, the People's National Congress of Guyana, like PNM, brother, you know. APNU must confront reality or risk losing future elections. Remaining supporters, a crippling defeat at the 2025 general and regional elections has left the People's National Congress Reform, PNC, RA, Partnership for National Unity, APNU, they're basically the one and the same, searching for hope and new leadership as the party looks ahead. For the first time since its formation in the 1950s, the PNCR will not play a major role as either the government or the main opposition, as the party under the leadership of Aubrey Norton has lost crucial support. That's Sowers himself. Aubrey Sowers Norton, buddy, has lost crucial support in its traditional strongholds and failed to make inroads in familiar areas. I pray and hope the day will come. PNM will also lose their strongholds in San Fernando, in Diego Martin, and Port of Spain. Lavante, boy. But Lavante is part of Port of Spain anyhow. But still, I hope the day will come when Trinidad will reach this kind of stage where they will put aside tribal type of politics, values, and loyalty to party. PNC was from the 1950s. It's like PNM. You understand what I'm showing you? And when you go for yourself, Google it, and go on Wikipedia, and you will see that the PNC has been corrupt from its inception. They have always been trying to rig elections and then, of course, being authors of confusion as well. Probably when they lose, they try to accuse the other party of rigging the elections. But there's proven records. Go and read it for yourself on Wikipedia. PNC was actually found guilty of manipulating elections in Guyana and actually even trying to transform Guyana into an autocratic communist nation. Thank God those days are over. Defying predictions of electoral losses and a hung parliament, the People's Progressive Party has increased its support in several regions, a result that the party's General Secretary, Dr. Bharat Jagdeo, attributed to an unifying positive campaign message and deep grassroots mobilization. Exactly. And it shows, and he has proven himself, Irfan Ali and his administration, of serving all the peoples, both majority races in Guyana, both African and Indo, and the indigenous as well. Now, for some news from Jamaica. The Reggae Boys kick-started, that's the football team for Jamaica, the final round of the CONCACAF World Cup qualifiers in dominant fashion as they blanked Bermuda 4-0. Well done. On Friday evening at the Flora Duffy Southfield Stadium in Bermuda in Group B action. Goals from Damian Lowe, 6th minute, Ronaldo Cephas, 25th, KC Palmer, 58th, and Shaman Nicholson, 90th. 90th. At the ending of the game. But anyhow, led the way for the boys. Congratulations. Congratulations. I hope they reach very far in the competition. The Jamaica Chamber of Commerce is calling for a comprehensive and timely updating of Jamaica's voter list to enhance confidence in the electoral process amid the voter turnout record at Wednesday's general election. The turnout was 39.5%, with voters list over 2 million Jamaicans. Out of 2 million Jamaicans. When you saw like the voting turnout for the various parishes or regions or whatever, it was ridiculous. I couldn't believe it because, I mean, Jamaica has a larger population than ours. And yet, my goodness, it was amazing. Because of course, I was watching the updates online on Facebook. And I couldn't believe it, and it shows is either a lot of the population aren't receiving the poll cards or whatever, or just have no desire to participate in the democratic process of elections. And that's sad. It's sad. And as I said, I think it was yesterday, that the only way to remove an incumbent government like PNM or like in Jamaica, the JLP from an office, you need to have an overwhelming turnout. I don't know if Trinidad ever had anything below 40%, boy. That is really ridiculous. The only way that Andrew Holness could have been removed from office and Golding would have been able to win, and he came very close. This was a very close elections in Jamaica, even though the voter turnout was low. And the Golding Party, can't remember the name of the party right now, right? But the Golding Party was able to regain a lot of districts that they lost during, I think it was the 2020 elections or something like that. So they did very well, but it was not enough. And the only way that would have been able to achieve a victory is if there was an overwhelming turnout. It would have had to be probably like a 60% or whatever. And therefore you could override whatever cheating probably taking place. You don't know. I don't know. But cheating could have probably been taking place. And the same thing that we had to do, and that's what we did in Trinidad and Tobago. We went out in our overwhelming numbers and voted for the UNC. And also, PNM voters did us a great favor. 100,000 of them abstained. They refused to go out and vote. And some of them, I believe, from that 100,000 actually added to the voting total in the UNC party. Because in the UNC, we got more than we usually get anyhow you take it. So we have to give credit to that 100,000 voters that usually vote for PNM, but decided enough is enough. We are no longer going to continue holding strain for Emperor and country. No more overheating phones. Cool your phones in seconds. Prevents damage to phones and battery issues. Better gaming experience and streaming. USB powered and fast charging. Lightweight and quiet. Ideal for kids and adults. Works with all smartphones. Makes a great gift. Enjoy free island-wide delivery. Call or WhatsApp 868-762-6589. Some more news from Jamaica. Several homes along Fitzgerald by Hines, boy, but that's not Hines, Avenue in the Maxfield area of St. Andrew were ravaged by a fire of unknown origin on Friday afternoon. Police and the Jamaica Fire Brigade are probing the incident. I hope it has nothing to do with politics. I just hope so. People, whether or not your party win, do not resort to violence. The Bahamas government says it will no longer allow Haitian nationals into the country for the purpose of applying for a visa to visit the United States. A brief statement from the Office of the Prime Minister noted that in June this year, the United States issued a policy fully restricting and limiting the entry of Haitian nationals to the United States. And you know what's the first thing? You know what's the first thing our people in Trinidad and Tobago go say? They'll say, once again, you see the Trump administration don't like we people, Jen. They don't like the Caribbean people, Jen. You will not acknowledge the fact that Haiti is a fallen state completely in the control of criminal gangs. And you still want America to say, you know what? We trust all, yeah. And you know what? We don't want to appear to be racist. So you know what? We'll still allow all to be able to come into our country. That make any sense? We should not allow them to come in our country and Trinidad and Tobago at this point in time either. That is the reality. Because it's a security risk, people. It's a security risk. Some international news now, kind of way pertaining to local though. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has highlighted Trinidad and Tobago as being in support of the U.S. operations against drug traffickers from Venezuela. He was speaking in Ecuador on Thursday. My response, Trinidad and Tobago will now be considered one of America's closest allies in the Caribbean region. Gotta give thanks to the Kamala Prasad administration for standing up for the right thing, which is opposing communism in the region, opposing drug trafficking, human trafficking, gangs, illegal gangs in our region. I went on to say, standing up for what is right pays off in the long run. The closer relationship we have with America, the better people, and we are going to definitely benefit economically as well. Our Prime Minister is showing courage and boldness that has never been seen on this little island since we became an independent nation. You know what it is? To be fighting back against basically the whole of the media, the despicable, nasty Syrian, Lebanese, 1% criminal media. They are criminals because they are defending criminals. They are defending criminals. They are defending the tyrants in Venezuela. They are basically bashing our own Prime Minister and making it sound as though what the officials in Venezuela are saying are true or is true. You can believe that? Our local media demonizing our Prime Minister and giving all the glory and honor and praise to Maduro and his regime. In my opinion, that is treason, but it doesn't appear to be so. But it's despicable. It's definitely despicable. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio dismissed a UN report suggesting that most South American drug trafficking originates in Colombia and Ecuador rather than Venezuela, saying it does not change Washington's stance against President Nicolas Maduro. Speaking alongside Ecuador's Foreign Minister Gabriela Sommerfeld, Rubio acknowledged that only 5% of regional trafficking passes through Venezuela, but insisted Maduro remains a fugitive from the U.S. justice. And the reality is 5% is a lot, people, a lot. And what makes it worse is when the actual leader of a country is a narco-terrorist. That's what makes it horrible. It makes it horrible. There must be a way to be able to restore democracy in Venezuela and able to have free and fair elections, whereby most likely the opposition party will win. Because at this point in time, most of the world leaders recognize that opposition party. I can't remember what's the name of the guy though. But the opposition party as the legitimate government of Venezuela, anyhow you take it.
Number two, for cooperative governments, there's no need. because those governments are going to help us identify them. They're going to help us identify them. Now, they're going to help us find these people and blow them up, if that's what it takes. They're going to help us with it. I don't know if you saw yesterday, Trinidad, a country that has suffered greatly from all these drugs coming out of Venezuela, they were congratulating us for it. They thought it was a great thing because they've suffered from it. So we're going to continue to hunt for, like we always have, but this time we're not just going to hunt for drug dealers with the little fast boats and say, oh, let's try to arrest them. No, the president has said he wants to wage war on these groups because they've been waging war on us for 30 years and no one has responded. But there's no need to do that in many cases with the friendly governments because the friendly governments are going to help us. They may do it themselves, and we'll help them do it.
You're wrong in your question. Number one, Venezuela is a major source, and the reason why is the following. And I've seen a lot of this reporting, and it's fake reporting, and I'll tell you why. It says that somehow Venezuela is not involved in the drug trade because the UN says they're not involved in the drug. I don't care what the UN says. The UN doesn't know what they're talking about. Maduro is indicted by a grand jury in the Southern District of New York. That means the Southern District of New York presented the evidence to a grand jury, and a grand jury indicted him. And then a superseding indictment came out that was unsealed about a year and a half ago that specifically detailed Maduro's actions. So number one, let there be no doubt, Nicolas Maduro is an indicted drug trafficker in the United States, and he's a fugitive of American justice.
You won't be disappointed with this one. Look and feel great every day. Painless trimming with no pulling of hair guaranteed. Comfortable to hold and lightweight. Intelligent anti-pinch system. Safety travel lock. Accurate and painless trimming. Durability, 100% quality. Fast charging. To place an order, call or WhatsApp 868-762-6589. The United States Navy held military exercises in Puerto Rico on Friday with 2 amphibious vehicles and helicopters being put through their pace. The exercises come on the heels of the news that the U.S. will be sending 10 F-35 jets to Puerto Rico for operations targeting drug cartels in the Caribbean. All of a sudden, tribal Trinidadians saying, oh, no drug cartels, another drug problem in the Caribbean jail. It's only the white men want to come and take over our territory. Telling you what racism does, you know. Racism, hatred of colonialism. That's what it does to your mind. It makes it dotish. Tensions with Venezuela have been arising over the drug trade and deadly U.S. strike earlier this week on a boat carrying alleged drug traffickers and narcotics. Alleged my foot. You know, alleged. Looks like they want to local mainstream media posted that. That's why they put the alleged. Can't remember where I got it from. The United States is purchasing enough doses of a new twice-a-year HIV prevention shot to share with up to 2 million people in poor countries by 2028. The State Department announced Thursday. Gilead Sciences had already announced it would sell that supply of the protective drug lenacapavir at no profit for use in low and middle income countries that are hard hit by HIV. That will be places definitely like countries like in Africa, some places in Asia. I think even Haiti has a problem with that as well. So that is wonderful news there. Yes, I don't wonder why that type of medication is so expensive. When it is, you know, that a plague that has been around since the 1980s is so deadly. Why not find a way to be able to make it much more affordable in the first place? But that's not, you can't blame the Trump administration for that anyhow you take it. News from India. A year and a half ago, 80-year-old Dukhu Majhi from West Bengal came into the spotlight after receiving the prestigious Padma Shri Award for planting more than 5,000 trees. Affectionately known as Gach Dadu, or grandfather of trees, Majhi has devoted his life to combating climate change. That's a whole different discussion, climate change. Boy. Anyhow, by greening the rugged Ajoria Hills in Purulia since the age of 15. Now, of course, people, I have nothing against keeping our environment clean, keeping the atmosphere clean as well. But there's a right way and a wrong way to do it. You have to be able to ensure that the industries do not be emitting any sort of excessive gaseous waste into the atmosphere. But you cannot be telling people about ending the rearing of cattle. Cattle? You want to stop because cows fart too much? And because you find there are too much vehicles on the roadways? So you want people to go back to using donkeys and bicycles? And yet the elites will not. They are not going to adjust their lifestyles. They're going to continue to use their private jets and the BMWs and the Porsche and whatsoever else. They're not going to change, but they want the common man to change for the sake of climate change. By foot. But a recent visit to the Wardy's home paints a grim picture. Machi and his family continue to live in abject poverty in a crumbling mud house. Battered by incessant rains, the family has placed haystacks at the entrance to absorb excess water, while the mud floor inside has turned into a swampy puddle. Makeshift patches cover the leaking walls and ceiling, yet the house remains on the verge of collapse. At the entrance, a red board scribbled in chalk reads, "Awarded by the President of India, Dukhu Machi." Next to it rests an old bicycle. I'm telling you that what the elites want us all to use anyhow. Bicycles. I don't have a car in any case. I walk, but still. Despite securing a house under the government scheme, it's currently occupied by his elder son following his marriage. I guess the house has to be small because otherwise the son should have his parents living in that home as well. Machi clarifies that it was impossible for the entire family to live in one house. So you see, so it had to be a large family. And after his elder son's marriage, the son moved in there with his own family. Machi has no house of his own, and his only wish now is to secure a home where his family can live with dignity. Now, the thing about it is, at first, before I read the entire thing online, I was like, you see, watch Modi again. Or whoever's the state officials for that particular area in India. But, I mean, this man has been recognized by the entire country and was given an award by the Prime Minister of India. So, come on. Okay, you give him one house. What's so hard in giving him a second so that he can actually live in some sort of basic comfort with his family? Modi, you don't have money to spare for that? All right, then. Folks, that brings us to the end of today's news report. Thanks again to everyone who continues to support my content. Please like, comment, share. Stay blessed and stay safe most of all. In Jesus' name.